Hello everyone. This is just a quick review of folktales before we get started this week. I'm not going to read this whole article or go over the whole chart with you, but I am going to bring your attention to a few important parts of each of those pages before you get started with your activity. So we're looking at folktales this week. A couple of really important things to note here. They come from the oral tradition. This means that the stories were never necessarily written down. They were passed by word of mouth. So people would come gather around a fire at night, and somebody would tell the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarves. So because of this, there are many different versions of the same story that can be found out there, and that's okay. Don't feel like you need to find the right version or the true version. There are a bunch of different versions of a whole variety of these folktale stories, okay? Folktales are often connected to the culture's heritage or the spiritual beliefs, and they can do a variety of things. So they are meant to entertain, but they also explain why things are as they are, teach proper behavior or cultural values, reveal insight into human nature and behavior. This is also an important one to read to get just an overview of what kinds of stories would perhaps count as folktales. We're going to go over 5 different subgenres for folktales: fables, fairy tales, tall tales, legends, and myths. There are others. So please don't get frustrated if you can't quite place something. They give you some examples down here at the bottom of some different ones that might count, or you can just place something as well as you possibly can. On this page, we have a chart of the different, the 5 main types here, and some important characteristics. The definition is nice, kind of giving you an overview in this section. I would say these major characteristics are super helpful in trying to determine what kind of folktale we're looking at. I would advise you to be very, very careful when looking at our tall tales and our legends. They can be seen as pretty similar. The difference here, the big difference, would be that tall tales are so exaggerated it's obviously fiction, whereas legends are often told as if they are true stories and are often based on real people. Also, let me see if I can find it here. There it is. Tall tales are often kind of funny and silly, whereas our legends aren't. They're going to be a little bit more serious, more like an action or a drama, in terms of like watching a movie. And then finally down at the bottom, we've got those myths. We're going to be looking at myths next week and the week after. So we're going to be wrapping up the school year by looking at mythology. Definitely much more complex than our other types of folktales. So now your assignment is to come down here and to make a list of 20 folktales that you are familiar with, okay? One important note. I know that online learning is weird. I know that many of you are talking together. That's okay. It happens, and that's a part of learning, and learning better is to talk to each other. I'm going to make one request, though. I want you to write or type, I don't care which, your answers in blue first. And then when you run out of things to say, and I want you to try really hard to come up with as many as you possibly can on your own. We're aiming for at least, let's say, at least 12, so more than half on your own. I want those written in blue. Once you are no longer capable of coming up with any more on your own, you need to talk to your mom or your dad or a sibling or a friend in class. Switch the color over to, let's make it red. That looks very different. And then write the other ones or type them in red, just so I can see what you were able to do on your own versus what you had to do in talking with others, so that I kind of am getting a feel for how comfortable you are with these things. One of the issues I always encounter with this activity every year is that students just want to put down stories that fit in here. So let me give you an example. Harry Potter. Is Harry Potter a folktale? No. Does it have elements of a folktale? Yeah. Does it have magic? Mm-hmm. Mythical creatures? Yeah, of course. Does it have the good versus evil fight? Yes. But it's not something that has been passed down for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years or thousands of years. Oftentimes we lose the origin of folk tales because we don't know who first told that story. We don't know where it first came from because it's so old. And there are many versions of it. So Harry Potter doesn't count as a folk tale because I was born before Harry Potter, came out as a story. We can find that origin. There aren't different versions of it. Does it have like some of the elements of a fairy tale or a legend? Yes, it does. But it's sort of mimicking that format, that style, but it's not a true folk tale. So just be kind of careful there. Try to think more of the classics. A good starting place is think about children's stories. Okay? If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to help. Bye.